pancakes.
Really?
Oh.
Bananas. You can do the outside
cook them
of
at
the
the same
bananas.
time, huh?
Well, no, you actually can, if you turn the power down, it will actually engrave on it. You can actually put the kids' names on the pancakes or
Really?
decorate them. And same thing with the outside skin of the banana. You can engrave something on a banana.
I was trying to do something today, Billy, and of course I had a soft piece of cedar.
Oh yeah, you got to watch that.
And I did a butterfly, and I did it at 35% and like 50, whatever that speed is. And it was to 102 and backed it down to 25. And then I backed it down to 10 and it's still burning deep.
Oh yeah. Like I said, you got a strong laser, you know, you got the 30 watt you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strong one. But that's the beauty of it. You can always turn it down or speed up the rate.
Hey, Billy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this Dave Edwards from Michigan. You guys are talking about those lasers. I just went out and bought mine the day after you had your talk on it, and I just received mine today, and I haven't even had a chance to look at it yet. So I might be calling you for some advice.
Not a problem. You'll probably find the biggest hurdle to get over will maybe just upgrading the firmware or getting it initially turned on, because sometimes they don't always come with the latest firmware.
I was thinking about maybe if I go out and get the old Rector set that have the metal pieces, just use them as this leg.
What series of Windows are you running?
Oh, I got Windows 8.
Windows 10.
Yeah, I got 8.
Okay.
I got Windows 10.
I have a question for you then, Billy, because I had Nancy on the phone and I was trying to do the software download and I couldn't do it. And then she asked me what version of Windows I had, and I told her 8. She said, no, that's your problem right there. You need 10.
It works. I mean, it's you know, it's running inside of Windows, but this program is just coasting. Okay, I mean, it's just Windows is the operating system that it's running inside of. It doesn't require much computer. If you can run this off your freaking iPad, you know it doesn't require much.
Yeah.
I'm using Windows 7 and that works all right.
Yeah, I know people that's done it with not even Windows. It's like a Lynx or some other copycat. You know, it works just fine.
Yeah, Windows 8 is incompatible with a lot.
And all that, but yeah.
Hey, Billy.
Yes, sir.
Dave Edwards again, and this is what I started out with, a little Ninja, or what you want to call it, a little tiny one.
Yep, I got one of those too.
If I can figure that out, can I figure the other one out?
That's right. You're way ahead, because remember you had to run that one off of the jump drive.
Right.
You know, so that kind of helped you out as far as understanding what's got to happen. There was no real program of that. It just ran off the jump drive itself. No.
You had to figure out how to do it on your machine, and then you had to transfer a picture into your program.
A lot. I've been messing with my my laser today. I've got my little table set up where I can run it up and down. And I mounted my laser on I put a little shelf in and mounted the laser on the shelf. So I'm able to do big bowls. I mean, it works out really well.
I got the Master 2/2S Plus.
Oh yeah, you got the same one, Ron. Oh, you did well.
But I'll tell you what, they did good by Billy last week. Probably a handful of y'all got into the business. Look at that. That's nice.
That's great.
Put that on top of the little table. It kind of gives you a quick reference if you're doing repetitive round objects. You know, if you don't disturb the table, you can just set another one right in there. I'm probably going to either double side tape it or bolt it down eventually.
Well, I just seen you move that up and down, so you have to reset it.
Yeah, it's all good. It works
Hey,
perfectly.
Billy.
My shelf is a little high, but I wanted my shelf to be functional.
Hey, Billy, when you do
Yes, sir.
big bowls, do they fit? Where's the actual focus of this thing? At the bottom of your, I know you were doing the 45. Oh, just like that. Okay. So
And
how big a
see,
bowl is that one?
this is a 10-inch bowl, and
Okay. Would it do
what
something like a 14 or 15-inch bowl?
I think it will, depending on the depth. What'll happen. But if you have a bigger unit, see, mine only does 150 by 150 millimeter. If your arm is longer here,
Yeah.
and you're only wanting to engrave 50 millimeters diameter,
Mm-hmm.
then your bowl can be 100 millimeters away from the unit.
You're right, stick it out, sure.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I can do a 12-inch bowl, and if it's over 5 inches tall, it's going to bump this, and if it's under, then I'm good.
Or you can make L's for your legs too.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I don't really have anything that big, and when I do engrave the bottom, it's usually 50 millimeters or smaller.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to do the bottom of your bowl?
Well, I haven't quite mastered doing all three things at the same time. I do the logo first, and then I come back, and without moving the bowl, I come back my type of wood and my finish, and then I do the signature separate. That way I'm able to put that signature wherever I want it. So it might take maybe 4 or 5 minutes total. If you'll do outline instead of a solid, I know you can't really see that, but it's outline.
Oh, okay, I can see it.
It cuts the engraving time down in half. And it actually looks a little better to me anyway.
Because it's not doing a fill.
Not working as hard, yeah.
Welcome. Well, it's all about wood turning, really. Somebody asked,
I don't know, don't look like wood turning to me.
what are y'all doing on it? It's all about wood turning. But Ronnie got his in, and he was burning up like me. He's burning up anything that's flat. I was playing with some stuff the other day, some little wooden disc I got out of Amazon.com. The old wooden disc.
Yeah, I got some. I call them wooden nickels.
Wooden nickels, yeah, and they burn nicely. And if you little ones that come to the house for Christmas, put their name on it and a nice script with, and like Billy says, the open type, and loose. Most of the time you have to adjust it to make it loose to get the real accent on it. And you put their name on it, put it on a string, and what you have invested is your time, your talent, and 30 cents.
Yeah. Well, what we do during the holidays, we engrave those little nickels and put everybody's name that's coming to eat, and then we have a gratitude bowl. And you take your token and you put it in the bowl, and you explain what you're grateful for this year, and you put it in the bowl.
Nice.
So you pass the bowl around the table. And
That's a good idea.
Great. What time was it?
The what?
The wife went to the Dowel store today, and she come home with a whole bunch of little trinkets and little picture frames and everything else, but they all were $1, so I can practice on that.
Mm-hmm. You start out on a small dot. That's sufficient. Mm-hmm. You got to find out cork. One time I started writing everything down as far as the power settings, but now I just know that it's going to be really low on cork and really low on cedar. Any oil that's got any wood that's got oil on it, you don't want to go too high on it because it could catch on fire. Just make sure you keep an eye on it. The lighter woods do well. I had this walnut that we did the other night, and it's almost, the wood's almost too dark to be engraved, but it still looks good. But the lighter woods really do well. Maple is beautiful. Pecan is beautiful. Anything lighter.
I played
Hey,
with.
you really, hey, Eddie, if you really want to get interested in something, oh my gosh, this guy from the UK club, he demoed the other night or a Q&A on a 3D printer, and I thought the items with a melted plastic, and it keeps building up until it actually makes the product. So
Yeah,
it
I've
was
got
actually
one of those.
manufacturing things. It's like, oh my goodness, that's awesome. You know,
You can do that with metals too. I've built some things for the shop. I built a Dremel fixture, which I don't have here, and I built a center finder, and I don't know, something else. One of the on top of the lathe.
yeah, Colin Spencer. Colin Spencer was his name in the UK club with Mr. Martin Clarkson.
Well,
Man,
the
it was
beauty of that is
it's interesting.
Well, there's a ton of free patterns and stuff available on Thingiverse. You just download them and print them.
Oh yeah.
There's a bunch of Dremel fixtures, so you could make a little sled and buy a Dremel fixture to put your Dremel in and just screw it onto a little piece of wood and you're good to go.
Well, he was demoing some products that he had broken that was made out of a ceramic brittle type plastic, and they just remade them. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Hey, Billy, Billy, if you want to see a sample, it's not a long trip. Turn to your right and look at that gizmo you have on the bottom of your laser for doing pens. Some of those parts were laser created.
Yes, yes.
3D created.
Well, those were actually machined out of a block. I don't think they were actually 3D printed, but they might have been. I thought when he started talking, that's what I thought he was like. They've been machined out of a solid block of plastic, but they said no, 3D printed. You're right. That could very well be 3D printed.
I've printed a full set of gauges that I can put on my angles when I'm sharpening my tools.
Oh yeah, the jigs, yeah.
Yeah, the jigs, it just sets on the table and you turn the table until it fits right up against the wheel, lock it down, you're off and running.
Crazy. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was like that with what you guys are with the laser. I'm like, oh my God. But I have enough toys. I have enough toys right now. I don't need any more toys.
Never enough toys.
Never have enough. That's right.
Like when you're going to buy that last tool.
I'll give you 6 months, Billy. I bet you have one in 6 months.
Probably so. You know how it is.
3 months.
Hey, what I did learn the other day is that people are using borax, taking 2 tablespoons of borax and mixing it with water and spraying it on their plywood before their laser engraving, like to do photos, and it's making the laser engraving darker and more visible, more linear.
Right.
Because he had done, I saw a test video. He said he did half the piece of ply with the water and the borax, and half with none. He started engraving and crossed it, and it was brown. Then it was dark black. I'm like, oh my goodness! It had turned the power down on the laser. It was working so well.
That's true.
It's
Hey, Eddie.
spelled, hey, you guys don't follow. It's spelled B-O-R-A-X.
That's an old laundry detergent mixture.
Remember,
So, hey, guys,
Saturday morning Westerns on TV. Go ahead.
That's funny because they use the borax for
20 minutes
for steel work too.
Yep, they use it for laser engraving serial numbers on metal. It makes the engraving process work so much better.
So hey guys, it's after the top of the hour. Let's head over and see if John's ready to start his demo.
Mr. John, are you with us? Got to talk to us, John.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
You got me now?
You gonna light him up, Dane?
Yeah, I'm getting him.
I got him.
Thank you.
Hello there, Mr. Brown. How you doing, bud?
Good evening. Good evening. Yeah, I'm here, but I don't know
Well,
whether
we're
I can
ready to
share
go.
this
We're ready to
screen.
go if you are.
Yeah, I don't know whether, back a month ago or more, I showed well, it was a bottle stopper and it was, can I get this in here some way? Yeah.
There it is.
Very good.
Like that.
Yeah.
And the question was, how did I get those inlays in? Well, I'm not going to do so much of an exact turning in there. And I do it with this router that you're looking at. And it's got a 90-degree V-bit in it. It's down here at the bottom like this. And I made a mount for it that is here. And drilled a large hole in it and got a hole in it somehow for put that router in. And then I have this miter track on up here on the top, and I will take this camera and see if I can't move it around here to show you a little better. Here's the miter track, if you can see that. And here is the front of this box, like, so to speak. The router on the top. And as I move it around here, you can see there's an angle on that top shelf where the router is setting on. And as it's on here, you're looking into that box. And this, you have this piece of wood in here. And this slides back and forth like this. And we get this on here. And lighting on this is very difficult to get properly. You can see it because of the shadows and everything in this box. And then this comes across like that. And there's adjustments on this. You can't use the attachment that comes with this router, any of the routers, to do very fine adjustments. You have to do it all with this ring, this coarse adjustments. You get it on there, and in a few minutes I'll show you how it's in. And I had a different router box than this in my other shop, and it was too heavy for me anymore to lift. And it's going to my niece, and that's 2 hours away, and it won't fit this lathe. I had it on a 1224 one-way at home, but this moves back and forth across that like that. And if I can get lighting on here, I've tried and tried to get different lighting on here, and it's very difficult to do. But you can see how this router comes across like that.
Yeah, lighting looks good.
Pardon me?
We can see really good.
It was.
But anyway, the angle on this, I know somebody's going to ask. The angle that I'm.
John, you got something in the way of the camera. There you go.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I've got it. I saw it there. I'm watching this on my computer here, and I've got an iPad that I'm using as a camera. And after a bit, I will show you another router sled here, like that goes flat on the lathe to do horizontal lines straight back and forth. across that you could do on a bowl or something. Here was one. If you can see that, I'll try to get better light on it in a little while. But anyway,
Hold it up, John. There
That's
you go.
like that's like a fluting jig to make the horizontal lines.
yeah, it's a, that is a, I'll get better pictures here. That's a weed pot. I don't know. Somebody accused me one time of growing marijuana, but I don't think so. But other than bottle stoppers and that, so I'll just slide this out of the way for a few minutes. And
Now you got me paying attention, seriously.
I've got a table here that I can show some of the pieces on. Maybe shut this light out. A little Christmas ornament that I've made quite a lot of. And they're in the lathe like that. And here's another Christmas ornament that I have made with slots in it, and then there was chatter work on the top of it.
Nice.
And the finial icicles made out of cherry, and the center part is a hard maple. And I like the contrasting color. And here was that bottle stopper that I showed a while ago, and it would be in the lathe this way.
You said that angle was 52 degrees. Is that correct?
Yeah. And when I originally made these back in the first jig I made for this router back, how many years ago? It was probably 69. Why, I just met at that 52 degrees other than I liked it. And I've stuck with it. The other jig I had, I made out of a product with metal. It was made out of a product called Unistrut. And it's like a channel iron. And maybe people that's in the construction business and building know what this Unistrut is. Electricians and plumbers use it a lot for suspending pipes and everything from ceilings and walls and everything. And it was really neat, but there was a lot of welding involved in it and cutting and all that I could do, because one time that was my occupation, was a welder. And it wasn't hard for me to do. And there was a place in Pittsburgh that sold this Unistrut, and I could go there and buy cutoffs and didn't have to pay. It's quite expensive, and didn't have to pay the full price. It was scrap price that I paid for it. But that's some of the, here's another Christmas ornament that is, it would hang on a tree that way. Now, how, not related to the turning of it or anything, well, kind of a way, but how I held it in the lathe to get that chatter on both sides and all was, you make this mandrel, I guess you'd call it. I've got to get over here. I forget about that. That mandrel that goes in the chuck on a lathe, and you put a long spigot or tenon on the end of it, and then you put this on here like this, and there's a screw in there's a split in this long pin that you cut in there with a hacksaw. And because I wanted a very fine split line in it. And then there's a hole drilled down the middle of this. You put this on here and tighten this screw up, 10 wood screw that has a tapered end on it. And you just screw it in there and it'll lock it up on there so tight you can't turn it, because it has to be held very firm to do the indexing, or you get it all messed up. With the indexing, you wouldn't get it even around there. The same with all of these, but that's about all. But when you put these grooves in here, I don't necessarily put inlays in all of them. As you can see, I do painting in them. And here's one that's painted right now. And the red paint's just slopped on there. And then I put gold sparkle paint on the inside of it and then turn it down. And after a bit, we'll put that in the lathe and cut it down so that you have an idea of what it looks like. Well, it's on here. This has got sparkle in it. And but I've done a number of different things. Most of it's been Christmas ornaments, because that's what I really like to turn. And here was another bottle stopper, but it was a two-sided one. Here it was turned off center to get the flat on it, and then a slot cut across it for the inlays. Now, while I'm right here, I'll get to this indexing or dividing. On a lot of the lathes anymore, there is a dividing system on it, or indexing. And I'll move this camera a bit again and show you where it is on this jet. It's inside, right in here where my fingers are, and the numbers are very hard to read. And up here on the top, there's a pin that spring loaded that goes into these holes on the inside. And it's a little bit difficult, especially when you're making a lot of them. And I made 150 of them for the group of people here at the retirement center where I live. And it's very hard on your fingers. And with any of the indexing that you buy, whether it be well, I don't see where I laid them now, but anyway, here it is. Here's one of these indexing wheels. And it came with something some other attachment that I bought, and I don't like it at all. There's many of them sold like that, and I don't like them. But there's 24 positions on most of the lathes. The bigger ones have 48, and I had a general that had 48 on it, but no numbers. And that didn't suit me. So I searched on the computer and came up with a couple of programs that you can make your own. And I've got that information here. And you see with a 24 and a 48, you can't get uneven numbers, which the art world says you should have uneven numbers when you do a lot of this stuff. I couldn't get it. So I was putting 5 in a lot of these things and 7, and you couldn't get them. This wheel that I have on here now is 7. And here is what they look like. Well, don't see the whole pack of them right at the minute, but I lose things rather easily. My mind forgets a lot of things. But here's one with 9. And they go on, particularly like that. If these pieces aren't exactly flat, why this won't screw on straight because I don't have much of a flat spot without threads on there on these smaller lathes. The one way was really good. It had enough that the edge of the end of the chuck would get back onto that round part that didn't have any threads. But then you have to make these locks no matter what you do. Even on this chuck has 24 positions on it. I don't think you can see that the way I'm. Well, here, we'll do this. You can see that Vic Mark chuck, they have, if I can get it up here where you can see it. The Vic Mark chuck here has indents in it for 24, and they're very accurate. But that's how I made 2 of these other ones that I'll grab right here. I don't see them right now. I laid the whole pile of them down, don't know where I laid them. But anyway, this is one of them. Now there's a couple of programs that you can get on the computer that you can make these on your own. And here is, see, can we get this over here? Can you see that? That's made, and it's about 8 inches wide because that's on 8.5 by 11 paper. And there's a man has a website, one of them's in Canada, called woodgears.ca. And you get on there, the man's name's Matthias Wandel. And you get on there and look for dividing plates or gear patterns. These out, as many as you want. All you have to do, here's one from that man's site. And you can see down here at the bottom, it's got the instructions and everything. And you put this dividing plate mode in, and it will give you these lines across the outside perimeter of it, where you take a center punch. Now, they're not perfectly accurate, just as accurate as you can make it with a center punch. Not as accurate as ones that was made with one of these CN machines and all of that. But when you're just spacing them randomly apart here, why, it works very good. And I've made them clear up into the 20s. And that one works good. And then there's another one. And let me see if I've got the address here for it somewhere.
If somebody's got that, what name of that website, throw it in the chat, be very nice.
Yeah, it's woodgears.c. Add it there. There's another one that's very good, and it's www.blocklayer, BLOCKLAYER.com/circle dash DIVIDERENG.ASPX. And that's a very good one too. Now, when you get on there, you have to search a little bit. It just doesn't pop up in front of you like that, but I think anybody that's used to it will be able to find it. And then the miter track that this router sets in up on this table here, I got at MLCS. I think a lot of people have heard of that. They have a catalog that comes out. And I just happened to get one a few weeks ago. And Yeah, you see MLCF, a whole lot of different woodworking, wood turning items there. But for uneven numbers, that's about the only way you can go unless you buy 2 or 3 of these different plastic things like this, and then they don't have any numbers on them. And with my eyes the way they are, I can't read them. And there isn't any room that you can find the right numbers on them. And these plates that I make here are very nice for that. Now, if there's a way that you can put these on the outside end of your lathe where the hand wheel is, they work very good out there. I don't know whether I can get this turned around here like this.
I have a question. Do you think it makes that much difference on uneven numbers if you can't see everything at one time?
You're right, it doesn't.
But it's
I've
not
found
artistic.
I've found that it doesn't make any difference. I was making them off of this one that has 24 on it, and you couldn't notice the difference. I think there's probably 12 there. So if you want to use that one,
if you can see them all at one time, it makes a difference. But you know, if you can't see it, it probably doesn't. So
I think you're right. Yes, but a lot of these smaller diameters of 5 and 7 work really good. I have done them with 6 and 8. I don't remember what's on this one right here. There's maybe 10 on it, but I think you're right. I just thought I'd pass this along because if somebody wanted to make gears or something, this one that woodgears.ca, that fellow makes a lot of pretty neat things and makes a lot of different gear patterns and everything that you can cut your own gears out with a bandsaw or something and make some kind of Rube Goldberg machines, you know, what Rube Goldberg did. And but then there's a couple of other things here that takes care of the dividing part. Oh, here, this that you even for these chucks. And here's what I've made. This has 2 rare earth magnets in the bottom of it. I've made them with a clamp on that clamps onto the bedways. And then I thought of these rare earth magnets, and I get those at Rockler. There might be other places to get them. I don't know, but that's where I got those. And then you just make anything. There's the holes I drill in them are a little less than 1/4 of an inch. And this pin that's in here is a 1/4 inch bolt. And I put it in electric drill and rounded the end of it off so that it acts like a wedge when it goes in this hole. And because you want them to be very snug so that it doesn't wiggle around, or you're going to get uneven slots when you do that. I'll take this platform off here. Now, how I get the these little triangular pieces, if you can see them there, is what fits in those slots. And these are 45 on each side. And how I get those is I cut them sticks out on a jig that I will show you over here. If I can move this, well, here, I'll just move it over here.
John's setting this up for you, John, a few folks joining us tonight. John Brown's doing a demonstration on how to put these grooves in the side of pieces that you turn. You'll see more pieces like it in a moment. Right now, he's showing us the jigs and rigs that he uses to do this.
Now, I cut these sticks square. They have to be very a good 1/2 inch or 9/16. But I cut them about 3/8 or 7/16. and square. And then I have made this jig that's on a 45-degree angle that fits in the bandsaw. And you see here, this jig, there's a runner on the bottom for to go in the miter slot on a bandsaw. And then I made this 45-degree jig and I put it up on the bandsaw and I take these sticks and run it right through the blade. The sticks are on I guess you can't see it there, can you?
Now you getting there. All right.
Okay, there you go. And you run your bandsaw blades coming right in here and down through there, and you cut them. You could put them in this way, but it's a lot of wasted wood just making it into chips. And you make these sticks that'll lay in there, and then you cut them off at whatever length you want. And it's very nice stuff. And I had just bought this for some other things I was doing. But and then there's another thing, a safety thing that I'm going to show you here right now. When we try to cut round pieces, they're like this. You see, there's a round piece in that. It's very dangerous because if you try to just take and feed these round pieces through a bandsaw blade, the teeth can grab it and spin it and would usually try to spin your fingers into it. It ruins the blade and messes up the wood. So I made this sled, and it's got a runner on the bottom here that goes in the miter track. I use it on a bandsaw all the time. If you're using a table saw, you can clamp it to the clamp this with a C-clamp or any kind of a clamp. I've got one of these, quick clamps, they call it, and clamp it on there so that I can get my fingers out of the way. If it wants to pull it out of that clamp, why let it go? Your fingers aren't anywhere close to it. But I recommend if you're cutting this round stock like that, that you use something like that. We made the Woodturner Club in Pittsburgh for many years made tops for children at the Children's Hospital, and I was able to buy these. I bought a pickup truck load of these. They're inch and 7/8 dowels, they call them, from some place up by Erie that was an overrun on a project, and I got them to donate them to me. And we made lots of tops, and we had to get some way of doing it without people getting hurt, and that's what we came up with. And I suppose many people have used it, but I hadn't remembered of it being brought up in a safety mentions on our website here, or this program, and that's why I wanted to show that to you tonight. So that's another thing that can be used on the bandsaw or any saw, as a matter of fact. But I'm going to cut a few grooves in a piece of wood here. I had the piece of wood and I don't know where I laid it now, but I'll get another one. Here's the locking device that I have for this router sled, so that when I get it on here, I can lock it down. I did quite a number of these demonstrations for these grooves back a good many years ago. When I was up in New York one time, I did a demo and people took a lot of measurements and everything. And I was back to another club in the same area a year later or something, and a man came to me and he said, I made one of those jigs similar to what you had for that router, but he said it doesn't work right, and I don't know why. He says it seems to vibrate. And he showed it to me, and he had made it out of furnace tin. I don't know whether you know what we call furnace tin, but it's what they make ductwork out of for furnaces. Yes, it vibrated a good bit.
Yep.
I said, well, that isn't going to work. You've got to get something heavier than that. But anyway, I don't suggest you make one out of furnace tin. And he had it all pop riveted together real nice and everything, but it just wouldn't work. The one that I welded together at home was really good and substantial. And the reason I did it out of Unistrut was when I went to some of these demonstrations, I could take another number of extra pieces of Unistrut. The lowest I think it was 5 inches. The first mini kind of one that One Way made was 10 by 20 or 10 by 24, I think. And then they quit making that one and went to a 12. But I got into some generals in that up in New York and Canada, and they were up on 20 inches, so it was 10 inches to the center of them. And I could add or subtract pieces of this Unistrut, and it worked very good. But if you can have access to some of that stuff and are a welder, why it'll work very good. You can make a whole lot of things. But oh, here's a piece of wood I was looking for, and it's right here. Now,
Right
once you get the setup, you can adapt these, cutting these grooves and everything. I don't have any bottle stopper supplies or anything with me where I am here, and it's 2 hours to drive to where my niece has it. And I just don't like to do that much driving anymore. So you want to remember, you want to start out on one of those holes, because I know I forgot to put the pin in, and things moved and didn't work right and all of that. Now, I'm going to see if I can get this light around here to get a better light on this in underneath that.
There you go, John. That's great.
Good. Okay. Now you bring this here, and then, well, I'm pretty lucky that just clears that. And we can do some adjustments here. Would come from, but someone at our club would get some of this in Pittsburgh, would get some of this stuff, and he thinks it was what they made countertops out at some jobs like these delis at Sheets and some of those places. There's the gasoline stations that sell sandwiches and all. And but anyway, boy, it was really something good. But if you try to turn a bowl out of it, mine was the glue hard on your gouges and everything. But a lot of us picked it up, and it was great for making these things because you could cut slots in this, in here and up back the sides to give this some clamping ability, and it wouldn't split. So I get this in here. If you're doing a whole lot of these, you get it figured out and cut the pieces the same length all the time, and then I put that big handle grip on there because my hands have a bit of arthritis in them, and they don't clamp on that pretty good. But all this miter track has a little wee bit of slop in it, just a touch. But so you have to grab it firmly and really hold it down and pull it across there. And this will be noisy, as you might know. And I'll put a couple of grooves in here so you see how it's done, and glue a couple of pieces in. And I have a switch right behind me, because the switches on these are very hard to use. Whoever invented them, I don't know. So I'm going to make a lot of noise for a few minutes here. So hold your ears or mute me or something.
Tear it up.
Well, that didn't work. Oh, I know why it didn't work. You have to. No, I pushed it the wrong way. I can't see the bloody thing. There we go. That's clear. Now I'm gonna give it about 3/16. And I've got a whole bunch of these little shims made. And I'm gonna, this was marked 3/16. They're just little strips of wood that I can keep under, that I can put under this ring on here and tighten the ring down on it. And pull that away, and then loosen this bolt again. Loosen this up. Put the screwdriver and put down in here. And give it a little twist. Make sure that's down. And if you're making a number of these, and you cut them all the same diameter, well, you don't have to do all this fussing around. So now I'm going to make the noise again. And so much for that. A guard for that bit. And I have a set screw in it, and I put it up on here. And if this gets bumped against the floor or a piece of metal,
That's a great idea.
it won't damage that bit. So I'll get rid of that off of there.
Well, that's one nifty idea.
Yeah, it sure is.
So get rid of this off of here. And then, can you see what I'm doing here? Yeah, I think you can.
Yep.
Turn it that way a little bit. Oh, one thing I forgot. These little wedges, what you want to do is take the sharp edge of them and rub them on a piece of sandpaper, the bottom edge of that. You'll never see it, but if you don't do that, if the bottom of that slot isn't exactly at a point, those little things aren't going to fit in. So you put that in there like that and press it down for a couple of seconds. There we go. And that's going to work there. And then we get another one. We take that sharp edge off. And then we get some more glue in here. And that's what you do with that. Then I leave them in there for, I've done it for a few hours. We'll do one more. I like the glue in that little bottle. It's Elmer's Pro Bond Advanced, and I use that a good bit. Pardon me?
How long does it take to dry or tack up?
Not very long. 5 minutes. I could probably turn them in 20 minutes. But I'm not going to because I'm not putting the whole ring of them in. Once you've seen that, you've seen it.
Do you put a rubber band or something around it to hold them together?
No, I never put anything on it. I've made really a lot of them, and I never put anything on it. See, they're getting tight now. And I'll tell you something else that I do with it. That's what I use on pen blanks for glue the tubes in.
Interesting.
I use very little super glue on anything anymore.
And that's holding that brass okay, you think?
Oh yeah, I tested it. And I have some that's been here for a year. And every once in a while I get them, put them in a vise and try to twist it. And you can't twist it. Yeah, I put them together and left them a day and put them in a vise and put a pair of vise grips on it or channel locks. And all it'll do is twist the metal and the steel and crimple it all up, but I've never had one come loose. That or tight bond, quick and something else. It's a glue that trim carpenters use, and it's made especially for putting trim on, and you hold it in there for just a little bit, and it's sticking there. And I glue the pins in the top of these ornaments and everything with it. But that's yeah, you can't slide that now. I've used it for a good many years. But,
must be amazing. I've never seen a clean glue bottle before.
what was that, Eddie?
I've never seen a clean glue bottle in my life.
Oh, no, I know.
Boy, sometimes this live transcript doesn't pick up just the way you talk.
Yeah, all I have to do, and I use that, is wipe it off with a paper towel and stick the cap back on it. And here's the cap. Just a little orange thing like that and goes down on there. Oh, I don't know what it's got in it. Maybe a 1/16 of a sized hole. And I bought it at Lowe's or someplace first off a number of years ago. Now it's a little harder to get, so I send away for it. You can get a couple bottles at a time off of Amazon or someplace like that.
Yeah, Tim Hatch put it in as an Amazon link, and Bob Grinstead put it in as a Lowe's.com link. So,
yeah, you could do that. Lowe's, I guess.
So we have a couple of sources in the chat, folks. And that's what the chat is for. You got some information to share.
Yeah, put it in there. You can put anything in. If you want to put, if somebody has questions about it and can't answer it, you can put my email in there. jhbrown@zoominternet.net. I think I sent it to you for put it on the, whatchamacallit, the website.
On the contact list.
Yeah, the contact list.
What type of chucks are you using?
I'm gonna get that light out of my eyes. And I don't know. I have a camera here that's overhead, if it'll work. This afternoon, it would work on and off. So I'm gonna plug it in and see if it works. Get this show. You can see what I'm turning better. If you go along with me a few minutes here, I see you thinking, drove me crazy this afternoon. Now I'm going to get rid of this one and see what I can do.
We're looking at it from over top, John.
Okay, I see that.
Yep, looks good.
Now, where's my chuck?
To the left as we're looking at it, to the left floor.
Wait a minute there. There, we got it. You got it there now, don't you?
Now we're on. Now you're driving.
Okay, all right. I'm going that I showed you a while ago, and that's just had paint slopped in it. I'll put it in here. I'll just take a roughing gouge and rough it off. Another gouge here, a 3/8 spindle gouge, and kind of round this off a little bit. Not too bad. It's just pine anyway. I glue this pieces of 2x4 together. So this could qualify, I think, for the 2x4 club.
Oh, it certainly does, yeah. Ronnie, put them on a list.
Let's get a little bit.
Do you make your own chatter tools or buy them?
I do. I'll do another one here in a minute. I'm going to cut that off and do a different chatter tool. And here, that didn't chatter too good. I'll see what the next one does. I could make it better. I could extend that chatter tool out. Chatter tool. I make it see it's got a crooked end on it. Well, that one done better. Yeah, that's not the best picture, but here, I'm done with it. That's all I'm going to do.
Remember, folks, this is 2x4 he's using, so it blows out pretty easy with the chatter coming across or in shaping it.
Yeah, and every piece is a little different. This is two pieces glued together, but
That's cool.
So that didn't turn out too bad for pine, but I know I come too close to the edge, you see, and that I should have stopped it a little earlier, but there's what it looks like on a good side of it. So
I'll bring it
that's
down right, John. To your right.
Oh, okay. I see what. There you go.
Down by your Chuck.
Put it in front of you, Chuck.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay. Can you see it all right there?
Yeah.
No, it looks good. Looks good.
Looks great.
Yeah, I can't enlarge it anymore.
Yeah.
Can't enlarge it anymore. But as I said before, if you wanted to do more with it and do the other side, well, you could put it in a mandrel like I've got here with that screw in and tighten that up. I don't want to tighten that one up right now because it's not going to hold, because I split it today much and it put a crack in it. I can't see it, but I know it's in there, and I just ruined it, which I can use it yet. So I've got one more thing. We've got time.
We have time. Well, John's setting this up. It's 15 after the hour. We started our demonstration early tonight as John's time limits on using the facility that he's in.
Hey, John,
Yes.
can I give you a little tip?
Yes.
Okay, when you have the two pieces spreading out with that screw,
Yes.
can you just make four slots? I have two slots, be four pieces, so when you turn the screw, it will automatically tighten up on all four sides.
Yes, that could be done, but that hole is, it would probably work. I just never tried it. I was getting along with that, but I will. That's a good suggestion.
That's what I do. I'm just explaining what is happening is that when you're tightening down on it, you're only tightening down on two sides.
Yeah. Yes.
Because when you have four sides, you can tighten the screw, and the wedge of the screw will tighten equally on each side.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. I'll have to try that.
All right, thank you.
Yep, thank you. Now, if you have a bowl or a platter, something like I've got here, I have occasionally, which I don't do very much of bowls. I just don't like to do them. I've done a lot of them, but I don't like to do them. It's not one of my things. I showed you that wheat pot, and how I get that on the wheat pot is I need to get my indexing plate here. If I'm doing this, I use a round nose bit. And but I'm not going to take the time to change one here tonight.
Ernest, if you're watching this and you're on screen grabs, don't miss these shots.
I'm gonna cut these a little deep, I think. Now here's what happens when you I'm gonna put my guard back on here. Hit the floor and ruin my bit. So let's take that out of there and see what it looks like. You can do the same thing across the ends if you want to. I'm not going to do that tonight. You turn this platform around here like this and that's a little hard to see, but
Go more
take a
right in
look
front
at
of you,
it.
Chuck.
Okay, yeah, okay. Can you see them? They're a little hard to see.
Yes.
But they're on an angle and they're, here, maybe I can help that.
John has just showed us how to lay in some inlays into the edges of a bowl, the face of a bowl, and also bottle stoppers. If you're joining us, you'd like to see this again, it's going to be on our website in 4 or 5 days as a repeat of this video. That's our webmaster, David Rhodes, does that each week for us. Now, this week's maybe a little late because due to technical difficulties, whereas I just couldn't figure out how to do it. In a few moments, we'll go back, we'll start some gallery, which we didn't start yet tonight. And here we go. John, look at this.
Got the makings of an ashtray.
Well,
A what?
yeah, because I just didn't cut it any deeper, but it could be used. You see, here's these ones that went straight in right here. This one's straight in, this one's straight in, this one's straight in. And here's ones on an angle right here. It's a little hard to see, I guess, from the camera. And I guess it was more of an angle, but I just laid that board under it. I'd have to raise this up for a little higher to get a real good perspective of it. But that's what you can do with it. You can adapt a whole lot of different things to what I've done there tonight. Any parts here for it, but there's a good example of here, right here, of what it would look like with the inlays in it. Here it was in the chuck this way, and that's when it's finished. And
That's cool.
John, I got a question for you.
Yep, go ahead.
The bottle stopper, you put the inlays in. Will you take a knife or a saw or something and cut those pieces off before you turn it?
No, I'm going to show you that right now. I've got one here that has the pieces glued in. Can you see it there?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to put it in a chuck. And this will be my last part of this.
Okay, Brenda,
I have to be out of here. I don't, pardon me?
We're reading Brenda's mind.
Above this and off to the sides. And they don't want anybody running some of this machinery in here after 9 o'clock because, you know, these old people, some of them go to bed at 8:30. And I guess I kept them awake until 9 some nights. And I just don't like to get on the bad terms with anybody. You know, they're very good to me here. They're very good to everybody here. This is a great place.
Yeah, it's good to hear.
Most of the sleds and jigs he's showing you tonight have been created in his shop, including the index wheel you saw, the sled for the router. If I had a shopping list, I'd be looking for that T-slide bar, and he told us where to get that. So this is a very doable project that we're looking to see what you turners can do with this and show us in the next couple of weeks or months what you have done to create your artwork, because he just cracked open the door a little bitty bit. There's so much you can do with this.
Sure did.
Now, you see, here's this locking device here. Now, if I wanted to use this chuck as my dividing plate, I would make a locking device that come in. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes. I would use a locking device, and you would have to grind down a very small bolt or a screw for it to fit in there. But then the numbers are on the back of it, and they're difficult to read.
Now, someone suggested that before you put the chuck on, you take a grease pencil and highlight the ones you want to use.
Well, you can do that. I have done that. Yes, I have done that. But if there's a way to put them on the end, on your hand wheel out here, that's a better way to do it, honestly. Because I could do that on the one way that I had. And I had them made, you take the hand wheel off, and there was 3 screws in the end of the shaft, triangle of screws. And I would make these dividing plates, the most common ones that I used. And I had a pattern for it, and I would drill them and just take the hand wheel off and put those on. And With the magnets they have today, you can attach a lot of different things to the end of this. I thought about taking this hand wheel off, but then it's putting pressure on the bearings in there. It's a kind of a oddball way of doing it.
Turner's in the chat tonight. We've got sources for you to get for the patterns for the index wheels. Also, a couple of sources for the glues that have been put in here tonight. Also, sources for the magnets that's been used. It's all in the chat. We welcome your input. If you're looking for options, ideas, suggestions, it's in the chat. And tonight, chat is very, very busy. So go ahead, John.
Yep, I'm getting my tool rest up here so that I can.
Stick around, Turners. We have two demonstrations this evening. John's the early bird, and then we have Matt Harber coming in following this to help you out a little bit more. In fact, Matt's demonstration is going to trail this one very properly. You've seen some difficulties John's had tonight. Matt's got some suggestions and some ideas how to remedy some of those. That's why we're here.
I do? Okay.
Yeah, you do. Hey, yes, you do. We're reading your mind too, Matt.
Yeah, Matt's in his bunny pants just awaiting.
Scary part is he's like Doug Rowe. He might actually have that on.
And my wind chill is 10 degrees outside. I'm not going into the shop tonight.
Ah.
I started to round that off with a 3/8 spindle gouge because I want to take very light cuts because that's walnut that I had laid in there, and it will chip out at the sides. So I had to be very careful with it.
Is that pretty much what you needed to see, Brenda?
Yes.
Yeah, that should be what Brenda wanted to see, how you rounded that off or cut them off or something. You just take this small spindle gouge and start in there very, very lightly.
Yep, okay.
Anything
Thinking if
that
I
you do
tried
with
to
this,
turn that off there like that, it would just split them all out.
anything that'll give you a slice and cut, a very light slice and cut will do the trick.
Even a skew would work, Brenda.
Yep, if you got the right angle.
In your garage, maybe, not mine.
Knife is a knife, a plow is a plow.
Now, John, you put the 90-degree edge into that groove, is that correct?
Exactly, Matt.
Okay, just making sure. Very nice.
Cool.
That is really neat. Really
Beautiful
That's down
job.
against it. That's down against it. The flat surface. Now I'm going to round the end off here a little bit. that was out of a piece of wood that had a hole in the end of it, and I didn't know it inside, but there it is.
Very nice. That is a cool trick with the inlay.
That is gorgeous.
Very nice.
See, if I would smooth this off on the end a little bit, now I could make an ornament out and drill a hole in it for a, but that's pine or fir or spruce, whatever the construction lumber was, all glued together.
Looks nice though.
Yes.
Good job, John.
Very nice. Thank you, John.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I use a well, that OB shine juice, kind of, but I have about 3 times more shellac in it. I've got one more piece I want to show you. I think I can find it. Now, if you want to take a lot of time to make something, you need 2 lathes to do it. But here's one here.
Whoa.
That
It's
is
a double inlay.
That's awesome.
Wow.
I only made one of them. This has got Paduke in it and yellow heart. And it has never changed color in probably 20 years. I've had that.
Oh, that's
And
gorgeous.
I guard it, but here in these apartments, people put all kinds of decorations on their door, and I have a lot of Christmas ornaments hanging on it and things that I've made, but I won't put that one out because I've never known of anybody to take anything, but that's so special that I don't want to take a chance.
Don't blame you.
In order to get that double inlay in there, you have to leave the router jig set exactly where it is, or you won't get it. And then, well, I just thought of another one.
We knew where you keep them at now, John.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Bottom of the
I think I showed you one like this, but here's a little blue one.
That's cute.
That one. That's
I like that one the
Probably
best.
That's 1.25 inches in diameter, probably 2.5, 3 inches long.
Nice.
Now guaranteed this will be the last one. But here's a pen. And I only made
I was
one.
just going to
of them.
ask about that.
Oh my goodness.
That
Are
is
you
awesome.
kidding me?
That center band has those in there. Mandrel, the pen mandrel, straight enough to do that because they're not perfect. Those pen mandrels aren't perfect. They look like it, but they're not when you get to doing something like that. But it took me 10 or 12 times to get that band made, and many years ago. And I only share that on special occasions where no one will pick it up.
Yeah.
I don't want to take a chance on making another one. Okay,
That's
friends.
beautiful.
So,
okay, friends, that's my demonstration for tonight. I hope somebody got some enjoyment out of it and can use that information. And Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everybody.
So, John,
Thank
there
you, John.
was a question earlier.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Merry
John.
Christmas.
Fantastic.
Merry Christmas, John.
Thank you, John.
Awesome demo, John. Thank you for sharing.
Folks,
And as
hold
I
on.
said before, if someone wants to email me, you're welcome to do it.
So, John,
Thank you, John.
Randy Smith had a question for you.
Okay.
There.
I haven't heard them
It
yet.
was more of a, if you have to make a jig, one easy way to lay out the index wheel is to do this, and it takes more time to explain than it does to do. I'm going to make a 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay.
Yeah.
Take this, go into Here, make a pie chart, a 2D pie
Right,
chart.
yeah, okay,
I'm using Excel, but you can use almost anything.
yeah,
I'm going to change the format of the plot data. And I'm going to say I don't want any fill. I want a border color to do a line, border styles. I want some, and I say, okay, close that.
There you go.
Try it again. Format data series. I want no fill. I want a border color. I want the border styles, and I'll say close. Now I have a layout
yep, you do,
or an index wheel.
okay,
What I will do now is go in and I will say save as.
right,
I will pick a PDF file.
right,
This will save it. And I'll just say, okay, save that one. If I can get this away from the thing. Save. And now I have a PDF file. Oh, I didn't get anything.
You haven't hit save.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta hit save.
I'm very familiar with Excel. And back years ago, when I was first designing this and getting this information put together to make that, they didn't have that on there. And that might be why I do it, and probably the easiest there is.
And once you have the PDF file saved, you can actually go in and say print.
Yep.
And I'll make
Yep.
posters of it. And I'll
Right.
say I want it 300%.
Yes.
And now I have a poster, and I can make
Right.
that index wheel any size I want.
Right. Yes. Yes.
And
I
then it'll
understand
print
that.
it
That's a
out
very
in
good.
sheets, and then it can be, and then you can paste it together and lay out the index wheel.
Yes.
Oh,
That's a very good program to do that with. When I was first doing it, I looked in Excel and couldn't find anything, but that was 24 years ago, something like that. And then I know a good bit about Excel. In not that way, but that's a very good one there. Yeah, I like that. Thank you for offering that or putting that information out. That's a good way to do it. Yep.
Open Office can do the same thing, and it's free.
Yes, right.
Most of the spreadsheet programs will do that.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, I
John's
imagine
on
they
the
would.
timeline tonight. Mr. John, we
Okay.
appreciate what you did this evening. It's fantastic.
Thank
Great
you very
job.
much. I enjoyed
right.
doing it.
Any other questions real quick?
I'd like to add one thing on hold down magnets. Carter uses a hold down magnet for like their fences for bandsaws.
Yep.
Okay.
You can
Yeah.
go buy them from them, and they're very, very, very strong on holding something down to a table. And it's a twist.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a quarter twist to release them.
Yeah, I used something like that. I forget what the name of it was when I was doing a lot of welding. There was magnets for that. That must be the similar
Yeah.
thing.
Well, I
Yeah.
even use it to hold the vise down on my ornamental lathe for rotary turning. You know, to put two of them in place, and it locks it in place just like you bolted the thing down.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
They're a little pricier, but they do a fabulous job. They'll hold 30 or 60 pounds.
Okay, all right. Yes, yes. That's another good suggestion. Yep, another good suggestion there.
All right.
Like
Once
I
again,
said
thank you
before.
very much, John.
You're welcome. If anyone wants other questions for me, feel free to email me.
Right on. Thank you. All right,
You're
folks,
quite welcome.
let's go to our first gallery contestant. Let's go to Tim Hatch. Hey, Tim.
Tim, you're up.
Good evening. How's everybody doing? Merry Christmas, first off.
Doing great. Yes.
And,
Merry Christmas, buddy.
Joe, I went out fishing with the wife this week, so I didn't do a whole lot of wood turning, but I did make this little weed pot here with the inlay. Started
Nice.
out initially as an ornament, and I determined it was too big and needed to be something else. And then going with that indexing jig on the jet, it's got that 24 different index slots. I turned this, it's not finished yet, tree topper for a friend of ours. And it's got that double spiral twist in it and another captive ring because I just had to play around with the skew a little bit, but still not quite finished. Still has to, have a couple coats of shellac or varathane or something sprayed over the top of make a little pop out a little bit. But yeah, so I was interested in trying to figure out a way to make a jig like that to cut things out using the index wheel. So this demo tonight was right on the money. I did see another demo done on YouTube a couple weeks ago where a guy had taken on his table and made basically a scroll design. So if he was doing a long, like walking stick or something of that nature, he could follow along with the pattern using the index wheel. So yeah, interesting stuff. I really appreciate the demo, John. It was great.
Thank
And
you.
again, Merry
Thank you.
Christmas, everyone.
Thank you, Doug. You too now.
Here we are. Couple of things. First off, some of you saw that I did a bit of an ornament the other day. That was a lot of fun to do. That bottom is all cherry. It's right at 3 inches diameter and what I say, almost 2 inches tall. You add the finial, it is 2 inches tall. That little finial is brown mallee burl. Really hard stuff, but it comes out beautiful. But then just got a couple of coats of shellac, or excuse me, lacquer on it today, and it really brings the color of that cherry out. Came out pretty nice.
Yeah, nice
One
job.
thing
Very nice.
One thing I learned on it is those radial lines do not need to be burned with a piece of formica. It's too thick. So next one I do, I'll use playing cards to get in between all those radial lines.
Very nice.
Then the other one I did.
Then you're going to do a stained glass effect on it too, right?
Playing cards for burning lines?
Yes. Yes.
Doug,
Beer
you can
box,
buy
beer box.
Doug, for very fine lines, you can get some burning wire. Rockler sells it, and I imagine all the other places. And I bought those. There's a course, there's a 3 or 4 in it, and there's a very fine one in that.
Yes.
I use spring
for
wire.
doing for these
guitar
doing these out
strings.
here is fine, but how do you do those? Because you got a vertical surface there.
There was
That's
a
why
fellow
I'm,
showed
that's
me
why I'm
how
going
to
to use
do
a card.
that.
You do
There
it
was a
with your
fellow
wood
who showed me
burning
how to
pan,
do that, and you
guys.
cut them on an angle.
You do it
Oh,
with
cut
your
the
wood
lines
burning
on an
pan.
angle.
Okay, folks, we're gonna get into another demonstration. Be careful what you say, because Dane will sign you up.
Here's the, I gotta get my camera further back so you can see it. I did 3 of these today. Post out of a farm or off a farm here in Kentucky. Fence was taken down. These posts were just piled up, ready to be burned. And so this one had been laying on the ground a while. Turned it with did all that with a 1/2 inch bowl gouge, just real quick. I think it took 15 minutes and turned it, and stuck a little electric voltage candle in there, and good to go. Looks good.
Very good.
Very nice work, Doug. Very nice.
Very nice.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to
Nick.
Scott.
Those old fence posts would be good for making crosses too.
Hi,
Yes, sir.
everyone.
Hey, Scott.
So this week I made a little ornament. If you can see it, there we go. So it's just a little glued up piece of ornament, and I found some caps on Amazon that are actually Christmas tree ball caps that fit right on there, really nice. Naked snowman.
Pull it back, Kate. Scott, pull it back.
There we go.
Oh, perfect.
Nice deeds.
My
Very
wife,
nice.
I wanted to color the eyes, but she told me no.
Yeah. Man with no face.
That's right. So
Yeah.
that's what I did this week.
Right
Thank
on.
you, Scott.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Good job.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
All right,
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Hey, Brenda.
Hi, guys. Well, I did not do anything in the garage this week. I still ain't been out there. But last week, before I got sick, I did this black walnut bowl.
Ooh, beautiful.
Nice shine on that, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. What's the
Must be
finish?
Parfix.
Actually, it was, I put
Oh,
a
wow.
sanding sealer on it and then the Parfix,
Yeah.
which Mark Soleil says, you know, if you use the Parfix, don't use a sanding sealer.
Yeah, I know.
Soak in. Well, I don't know why I did it that way, but I did.
Well, because I've told you to use some type of sanding sealer.
Well,
Yeah.
normally I do. Yeah. But not when you use the Parfix. But
No,
this
no, with
before.
so I use I use a diluted blow solution before I put my Parfix down.
Yep.
Huh.
It just seals.
Because it
yours
seals the
underneath.
grain deeper down.
Yeah.
And it allows for the CA to penetrate evenly.
Okay.
And not as deep, so you get a high gloss glass finish quicker.
Okay.
And
Well, that's
whatever
what
you,
it's for.
Brenda, the beauty of sealer is, you put the sealer on, you actually are previewing the finish. So marks will show up, gouges will show up, blemishes will show up, et cetera, et cetera. And you have another chance to fix them before you put the Parfix on, which is sometimes difficult to fix.
Yeah. Well, this one was supposed to be a plate because I was making I cut blank, you know, to make a plate. Well, then it was just too thick. I think I couldn't cut it down. So as I was turning it, then I thought, it looks like a dog bowl.
Brenda, I kind of like the idea of a plate there. It's got side rails on it, keep more on.
Yeah, real deep.
It looks
That's
like
a
one, Ronnie could use that.
That's a country plate. It allows you to pile more on there.
Exactly.
One pass through the buffet line.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good
it's good for your
popcorn bowl.
biscuits and gravy for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Ain't no
Okay,
gravy
so
dripping
this
out of
is-
that.
This is my first urn. There's no finish on it yet. It's Osage. But
Very nice.
it's got a little groove in the top, and then I was digging out the screw holes for the faceplate, and kind of liked the way that looked, so I kind of left it there. And I picked up these pieces here at Hobby Lobby. They're a coin container. I don't know exactly what they're called.
Coin protector.
Yeah, coin protector. You pop them open, and I put my dog through that in the top of here. So then the top does unscrew.
Hey,
Check, yeah, well, check this out though. Let's see. Let me see that one that comes on.
righty tighty, lefty loosey.
Well, no, look. Can you see how it's not?
Close. Yeah.
Yeah. How about that? See like that?
That's
Yeah,
cool.
you got a shift
Top
there.
is not centered.
It could have
It's
warped
It's a
while you
feature.
were
It's a
turning it.
feature.
But what I did was I used PVC pipe. The top piece, just screws into the bottom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And evidently it's the top. You see that? It's not centered. But it goes on together. Looks good once it's all screwed on there. So,
Brenda, is your checking point still on the bottom?
yeah.
Could you not put the whole thing back on the lathe and even up your top and bottom
How would I?
on your chuck?
Yeah.
And then you can turn it and make your top match your bottom.
Well, it does once you put it together.
Oh, okay. Then don't worry about it then.
Yes, and that's what I did do. That's what I did do.
Yeah.
It matches.
Yep.
There you go.
Looks great.
Of course, I don't know how I don't know, stupid brain farts or something. I don't know.
Whoa.
I had this on the lathe like this. Right. Here's where I cut it to make the hollow out this section to put the pipe in it, the screw in part. So anyway, I had a crack there, right? So I was filling it full of sawdust, and trying to make it look like a line instead of a crack, so you couldn't see through it.
Right.
Stupid me. Filled this one in too. I had that thing all glued together. All the way around. And then thought, now what did I just do? I just glued. Yeah, it was a mess. But like I said, I haven't put a finish on it yet because I was kind of thinking the top piece with the groove like at the top, thought about putting some, I don't know, something in there and putting some epoxy in there.
Some dog bones.
Yeah, something, I don't know, glitter or something, I don't know.
Would your dog like glitter?
Well, I do.
Well, that's what counts.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought it was really neat that it was going to have his picture on the front of it, the top of
Put his
it.
vet tag. Put his vet tag in there.
Shop tag, ID tag, dog license tag.
No, I like his picture in there. Or you mean down in here?
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be big enough for that.
You'll make a bigger one.
Even some small bones of some sort. Like you can get small bones,
Stickers
like
or something,
plastic
and then
bones
put
or Lego bones or something,
Yeah.
and inlay them along.
Before I put a finish on it, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
you could actually scroll saw some small little dog bones that you could inlay in the little recess.
There you go. Don't you have a scroll saw?
A couple of them, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, last time I used it, I couldn't figure out which direction to put the wood in it. Yeah, another one of those days.
All right, Brenda's beautiful work. Thank you, please.
Thanks, Brenda.
Thank you.
Very nice.
All right,
Thanks,
let's go back.
guys.
You're welcome. Let's go to Mansfield. Hey, Bob.
Yeah, I had to follow Johnny Hughes, I guess. Anyway, this is he came up with one of these, and I had to do that too. I like the puffy paint on there.
Yeah, I do too. I saw that the other day. It looks good.
Yeah, the only problem I had is if you make it too big of a drop, it tends to run. So you have to watch and let it kind of dry a little bit before you turn it.
Do you put the puffy paint on while it's still on the lathe or afterwards?
No, it was off the lathe.
Yeah.
Because it was already finished, the lacquer finish, everything was finished, and then came back and put the puffy paint on. But
Can you put finish over the puff paint?
yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You can, but it's easier in case you mess up the puff paint if you've got a finish on it to get the puff paint off.
That's right.
Okay.
You can wipe it off.
Yes.
Yeah,
you go, Bob. One more tip.
And even right now, you see this one up here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but this one up here has moved.
Yep.
Off to the side slid. Well, you could actually pull that off. You can take your fingernail and pull it off and put a new one back on there.
Ah.
And that's what I'll end up doing. There's another one right there, but anyway, I like the idea. I thought it turned out, makes it colorful rather than just having a tree with snow on it. So.
Right.
It looks
Very
good.
nice.
I like
That
that.
was
Cedar
cedar.
looks really good with it.
Very nice.
Do what?
So that cedar looks really good with that.
Oh yeah, I like the cedar.
Yeah.
Mesquite turns out real good too, but I have
Yeah,
a
it
problem
does.
with mesquite, so I
Yeah.
can't use that.
Mm.
Anything that has that other layer, the whiter layer or lighter layer on the outside.
Right. Even walnut if you can get it with the white cambium.
Right there you
Yep.
Well, that
Looks
looks
like- Very nice, Bob.
Good.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
All right,
All right.
thank you.
Let's go to Sue. Hey, Sue.
Hi
We
there.
got
How is
time. How about
everybody?
that? We're
Ho,
good.
ho, ho. Got to tell you a quick story.
Let's do.
I was putting up the tree. The tree is 6 foot, and I've got one of those crystal stars that goes up on the tree.
It
The
fell.
star bent over, cut me
Yep.
in the middle of the head.
Oh,
I had
no.
blood all over the place. And I'm
Oh
thinking,
my.
doggone, even the Christmas tree's getting after me this year. I don't know what I've done.
So the moral of the story is you're going to wear your face shield next year.
Exactly. You wear the face shield. Well, I remember I told you guys that everybody in my family is getting pens. So I figured I'd show you a few of them that I did. We did, they're all the Cortonas. So there's a purple.
Nice.
That was a sample from somebody, but it turned out good. The marine blues for my grandson. This one is neat. I don't know if you can see it. It's got it's got the sprinkles in there, those little silver sprinkles.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
That's a rhino blank grape leaves and something.
Yeah,
That
it's
came
pretty.
out. This is for my neighbor who's just got a happy energy, so I thought that was good for her.
Looks like a happy pin.
Yeah.
Happy
And then my granddaughter-in-law, she likes blue.
Oh, she ought to like that.
You've been
And
busy.
my great-granddaughter, she wanted dark blue, so she got that one.
I
Nice.
like the shape on that one.
Like a blue tiger.
I figured I'd play. And then another purple. I had a lot of
Nice.
requests for purple. A maroon. I thought the maroon came out pretty good. Lime green one.
Yeah.
And I only have 10 more pens to do tomorrow. So
Oh
wish
my
me
Very nice.
Stay away
Nice
from the
job,
Christmas
Steve.
tree, you'll be all right.
Okay, I won't be able to walk anymore from standing all day in front of the lathe, but I'll be good.
Yeah.
There you go. Thanks, Sue.
Thank you, guys.
All right, let's go to Greg Bray. Hey, Greg.
Yeah, let me get this mute off.
You're
We hear you.
great. Great.
Turning Christmas ornaments like crazy. This is last year's model. He had a snowball. And this year's model, Frosty, I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yeah, got the arms.
Yep. Oh yeah.
No, he's got a pipe.
And a pipe.
Oh, I like that.
I got my pipe going on tonight too.
There you go. And each year I do Frosty doing something different. Of course, this is last year's, this is this year's. I've had him on skis and snowboards and pedal boards and ice skates, and every year is something different. So I don't know what next year is going to be. We'll see.
Love the pipe.
We'll wait around for them.
Yeah, you start planning in July for that, right?
Well, I start early. I start in February.
I believe it. All right, thanks, Greg. All right, last week's demonstrator. Hey, Billy.
Hey, it's me. I got a little piece of inspired by Joaquin and Matt Harber, little Japan plum tree. And first attempt at it, I didn't know if I was going to make it.
Billy, hold up, Billy.
There will be temptation.
Hold up, Billy. We got some.
I'm going to mute all.
This is a little piece of Japan plum. It was a green turn, so it's got a little crack in it. But I put a little linseed oil on it, and it's inspired by Joaquin and Matt Harber. And it did really well. I didn't know if I was going to make it to the last segment because it was quite interesting doing a off center turning like that with that many segments.
Oh, so your camera's looking at that straight? It's not crooked?
I thought my bandwidth dropped down.
I couldn't find any prettier wood than that. That's the only thing I had, and it was green. So I knew
Yeah,
it
you lucked out on that. That's nice.
crack, but it did really well. That's all I have. I really enjoyed the demonstration and information from Joaquin and Matt. That was great.
Very pretty.
That's
Thank you,
awesome.
Billy.
Well, speaking of Joaquin, look at this devil.
You got that. All right. Here, let's see.
Hey, how you doing tonight?
Okay, fine. Well, at my house and my family, they're crazy about Christmas trees. I turned a lot of Christmas trees. This is one that it kind of looks like it's kind of washed out, not showing up in the camera, all the spalding. But then this is a mesquite one.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
And you got a cross on it.
Love the cross on that one.
I'm sorry?
You
I
got
love the cross
going.
on that.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Thank you. And then I wanted just some trees. So this took some Texas ebony and just made a tree, with the trunk. And
Wow. That's some pretty wood.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Michael Clarkson gets on to me about using Texas ebony for the Christmas trees. I'll be using it for something else. And then I've got an order for some some potpourri bows. What about if I turn the light? It's not much better, is it? I thought, but it seems to have a really bad washout. Well,
that's better.
Yeah. There's a piece of mesquite.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. But that.
Oh,
That's
my.
gorgeous.
What kind of finish are you doing?
CA glue. It's so fast, it's so quick, and you got the pop immediately.
Right.
Nice.
Love that.
Beautiful.
You're doing production, so you want to get something done as quick as you can get it. So,
Hey, Joaquin, where do you get your Texas ebony from?
it's all around the neighborhood here, and a lot of it is really, it's all dying because we had a freeze about 10 years ago, and most of it that we harvest, the pit is rotted out of them. But I turned it down one time because it was rotted inside. And I said, you big dummy, you can still make wine bottle stoppers, pins, and everything else. So I don't turn any of it down, but just kind of on a list of people, wood tree cutters, and they holler at me when they're cutting one down.
Hey, Joaquin, what part of Texas that Texas ebony grow in?
But down here in the South, I'm in Corpus Christi, Texas.
What about West Texas in the hills?
I'm not sure. I really don't know about that up there. But I don't turn down any of it. And a lot of it out there is no good, but I still don't get rid of it. The sapwood just comes apart when you start turning it.
Yeah.
But because it's sat there so long, dead. Well, we got a problem here with the Norfolk Island pines. People, when we had that freeze in February, people are not cutting them down, and the tops are falling off on the cars and houses. And the wood's no good because it's sat there so long, it got rotten and punky.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
You can maybe stabilize it with a pressure pot. That might be interesting.
Yeah, some pieces like that you could. I mean, I got a bunch of it out there that's waxed and curing. I know if you let it set too long, it gets punky real quick if you don't seal it, take care of it.
Thank you, Joaquin. Beautiful work, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hey everyone, hope all is well. Merry Christmas and
Merry Christmas,
happy
buddy.
prosperous New Year to everybody. So I've been keeping busy doing some last minute ornaments, some boxes, and some live edge bowls. So a couple weeks ago, I did these ornaments, and these are multi-access Santa hat ornaments. They're turned on 4 different axes.
Yeah, that's cool.
The brim is textured with a Dremel. The ball end is textured with a Dremel. The inside is hollowed for the weight. I paint it black just to hide some of the chuck marks, even though all the general public will not look in there. All my wood turning buddies will. So it's a little harder for them to see the chucking points on the inside of the hat. But the main purpose of that is to remove some of the weight so it doesn't weigh down the branches of your trees. Ornaments with the long finials.
Oh,
beautiful.
Nice.
So the
Ironic.
body here is acacia, which is from my buddy who did his acacia countertops. The top isn't quite finished yet because it's been sitting in a container like this, so I can get the finish on this half of the piece. Soon it will sit like this so I can get the top half finished. Now the finial is cherry, and the finial on the bottom is also cherry.
Beautiful.
And it's secured with a mortise and tenon joint. The finials go into one another because it's all 1/8 of an inch wall thickness, including the very bottom to the other side. So the mortise and tenon go straight through into the other finial. Some roasted ash off my supplier. And this is a piece of roasted ash. We can see the reflection of everybody on Zoom. But there we can see some of the caramel colors there in the
Wow.
ash.
Beautiful.
Thought you were going to say you can see some of the characters from the screen.
Maybe good. There's the inside. And then the lid I did out of bird's eye maple.
Nice.
We can see there, we can see the bird's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And the finial is a double die. It's quilted maple. So that's how I sort of got this striped effect on the finial. The base is painted black. And then the rest of it is double dyed to give it the striping effect. So first I dyed it red. And then I sanded it back and dyed it yellow. So I get yellow ray.
That is gorgeous.
Sweet.
Small little box I did. I did a couple live edge bowls a month or so ago. I don't think I've shown these before, but they're finally finished and shiny and I can see myself in them. So these are a couple crotch bowls.
Ooh, nice.
Now, this was sort of an experiment of coming up with this shape and flaring the wings. At first, I wasn't really a fan, but it has grown on me as I have finished it. Now, I left the Now you can leave the pith in a piece, you just have to turn the wall thickness less than 3/8 of an inch. So I turned these just less than 1/8 of an inch wall thickness.
Oh.
And on the inside, what do we see, Brenda? Maybe a face or an animal, or there's the eyes.
Your TV screen.
It's a seal.
TV screen, yeah, the glare.
Yes.
We can see
Reflection.
It's
the
a seal.
reflection of us inside there. There's some nice spalting on the edges as I left it to dry in my backyard. This stuff was cut down in the summer, so the first thing that came off was the bark. I wasn't too worried about it. I thought about texturing or embellishing it, but I didn't get around to it because I got busy with other things. So I just ended up finishing it the way it is. And I like it without the textured, burned, or textured rim. So there's one. It was turned out of a crotch. Now the other one I have here, it was turned out of a 3-way crotch of a branch that sort of came off the main branch, but there was one that came out and then a third one that went out the back end. So I got a lot of really good feathering where those limbs came together. So here's the outside here. We can see the flame pattern there.
Oh yeah.
You can see the flame comes right down into here. We have the pith with the smaller branch coming out the side with the pith bleeding into the other center.
Yep, and that's an old race car.
Yeah,
Or an
it
old
could be.
tractor. Or an old
Oh
tractor.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. An old dune buggy.
Yeah.
It's like Fred Flintstone's car.
And then here I left the pith intact. It almost looks like an alien. So we have the two eyes,
And
the
the
forehead or the big unibrow,
Yeah,
and then his little mouth right here.
Tilk from Stargate.
Right?
You folks do,
Indeed.
you
And then
folks
the
do realize
inside-
that new members don't know what crazy's all about until they tune into this.
Right?
It's what you can see in the wood.
Beautiful.
And then
It
there's
is
the
gorgeous.
inside with the
Very
eyes.
nice work, sir. Very nice.
Wow.
They're beautiful, Cade.
Thanks. Thanks, everyone.
All right.
Many coats of tung oil, shined, buffed, polished, to get that high gloss glass finish I love to do. So
Thank you, sir. Great looking work.
Thanks, Kate.
Very nice.
thanks, everyone. Have a good holiday.
Now, before we continue with the gallery, because we got some more gallery coming up, I met a little while ago, Mr. John mentioned that if you want to get a hold of him, you can find his name in our contact list. Now, we haven't spoke about that this evening, but our contact list is a voluntary program. If you would like to include, if you'd like to be included, just whatever you would like to have, no commercials, on our contact list, put it in a memo to our website. Go to our website and fill out the information like that. Name, address, phone number, website, YouTube page, whatever you have. And our webmaster, Dave Rhodes, will place that on the contact list. Now, how do you to keep the robots away from it so you don't get a million emails? You have to follow directions, contact list, member list. You click on it, and then there's some specific directions on what you need to do in order to download it. Pardon me, I'm suffering really bad from a sinus infection. Follow the directions exactly, and then you'll get the contact list emailed to you automatically, and then you can use it. It's not a live contact list. If you see Mr. John Brown's name, his email will work in your mail server. But that's our contact list. One more step where we're sharing your information. Let's go back to gallery in just a minute, Dane. I have got a video gallery we need to show.
Well, we got a special request here. So we're going to go across the pond and we're going to go to Mr. Martin Clarkson.
Is Santa Claus in the house? There he is.
There he is. Over the right shoulder.
Workshop.
Eddie, I did this one because I know that you were trying to or going to do yourself a walking stick. And these are beta sticks that I've made for quite some time. They're made in 3 sections. So the bottom cane is in 1 section, and then it is doweled up to here. So it's got about a 6-inch dowel, and this is pre-drilled. So I pre-drill this top end and dowel it into here, and this is made separately. And then the ball on the top is also doweled in to the cane.
That's
the way that I do my walking sticks, walking cane.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Keep that thing still because I'm doing a screen capture on it. Okay, great.
All right.
Very nice, Martin.
Thanks, Martin.
It's our United Kingdom contribution.
We're truly worldwide.
Yes.
Well, up next, you know what, Eddie, can we do the video gallery now, or do you want to do the light demo?
No, sir, I can go right into the video gallery. Is you email us to worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. You email us the photograph you'd like to have included in our gallery. We also use that video, that picture on our website and in our newsletter because it's the finest work in the world. It's yours, and that's not a con. But we get these photographs in each week, and I put them together in this presentation. Here it is. Watch.
Hi, sweetie.
There you have it. That was this week's gallery. If you'd like to include a piece, you're more than welcome. It's your club. Email it to me now. The emails I received from Tuesday night at midnight until the next Tuesday night at midnight. Facebook or chatter on those other things, they may not have been the quality we require in order to insert it. Otherwise, we get a very poor image. So send me your photographs. We'll convert them to put them in there. And you are more than welcome to be part of this. I think every week when I look at it, I come away with an idea like, man, you know what I can do? I can do something like that. Please don't try to copy my mistakes. Do what you like. All right, we're going to go back to gallery right now. Dane Channel is our gallery master. And Dane, do we have somebody in a bullpen?
Well, we don't have a gallery item, but we do have a light demo to go to.
Oh, I'm all for that.
Well, let's do that. Matt Harber. How you doing, buddy?
Hi, everyone. I'm all right. This is an articulated arm demo, which is a better description of it. I started on my articulated arm journey because I had one of those magnetic lights on my lathe bed, and every time I went to use my my hollowing jig, it was in the way, and I couldn't get light where I wanted it. So I started looking into building some articulated arms, and my first goal was to find a way to get light onto my piece and out of the way of my hollowing jig in the process. So the first one I came up with, let me show you this one here. It's this, and I built it, and when I get back to this arm here, I built from what I'm calling arm video number 1. The guy who did it calls it something else, but I basically built this. This is the first arm I built, and it basically is from the same way he builds it in this video, and I'll post a link of that in a moment. This arm is now mounted on the wall behind the lathe because where I have it here did not give it enough freedom of motion. Okay, so let me go back to, let me stop sharing and post those links in the. Yes, sir.
Before you go on, you have that rack you have for all your tools. Could you say something about it?
Sure. What this came out of my kitchen. It was one of those. It was one of those racks on a pull-out drawer that holds like trays and stuff. Okay, and what I did is I cut it and made like 2 little walnut dowels to widen it, and then I hung it from my light rack. So the tools, it's right above my tailstock, and I could just grab the tools I want right quick. They're right there.
Very cool.
Nice idea.
So it need to be wider, the tools would fall off. So I like wider. Well, how do I make this wider? All right. So the arm I'm going to show tonight is my 2nd generation arm, and that's this one here. And this is the arm that is on my lathe and holds my overhead camera. Okay. The top, it screws into my light rack, and it rotates. Now I wasn't sure how I was going to mount this when I made it, so I wanted it to be versatile. So that's why I made it the way I made it, so it could rotate around in case I decided to mount it somewhere else, like on the lathe itself or somewhere else. So the bit at the top is, I call the base. The bit on the left side is what I call the joint, and the bit on the lower right side is what I call the terminus, which is where the camera, and it's 2 pieces. Now the inset here is is something called T-nuts, which is something I discovered. I had not known about them before I started building arms, and I've used them a lot in making these. They're embedded in all of the knobs and in some other places, and they're the same all over the arm in a lot of places. Okay, so knob to adjust the entire arm. So this implies that at least one set of the arms from both adjustable sections must be on the same bolt. My problem with the first arm I built is it was hard to reach the adjustment knobs, and I was using wing nuts instead of those knobs I've got now. It was hard to reach them because they were a long ways back behind the lathe, and it was hard to adjust it and loosen the arm to move it. So the second one I've already mentioned, I wanted the base to rotate and be flexible in case I change my mounting plan. Now, all of my screws, my bolts, my nuts are all 1/4 inch by 20. Okay, so cam and our quick change mount. The 1/4 inch by 20, one of the reasons why I use those is they're also the standard screw in the camera. So let me stop this for a minute and show you what I mean. These webcams, this is one of the webcams. Okay, and it has on the base, it's got a screw hole here, which doesn't show up real well. But what that screw hole,
we see it.
Okay, that screw hole is a 1/4 inch by 20.
How about that?
So and that's the standard, and it doesn't go through all the way, but if I've got a 1/4 inch by 20, I can mount that sucker anywhere. So that was one of my considerations for choosing to go with the 1/4 inch by 20. So back to this, the arm will hold the camera, be above my lathe, must be adjustable for the piece being turned techniques. So it must be able to extend across the lathe bed and still rotate across depending on what camera angle I decided I needed. Now the last point here is that the terminus needs to be minimal. In other words, it needs to be small because a big bulky thing will be in my face while I'm trying to turn. And I don't want that. And it needs to be adjustable, okay? Okay, so these are the notes, specifications, and links. At the bottom are the links I posted in the chat. The bolts, washers, and T-nuts are all 1/4 inch by 20, and it's also the camera thread dimensions. Most parts are made from 1/2 inch plywood. The exception, 3 of the arms are made from 3/4 inch plywood for stability. The base to joint arms are 12 inch long. The joint to terminus arms are 13 inches long. All the arms are 1 inch wide. The bolt holes are 1 inch from the ends, and I'll show that in a minute. These can be modified. So if you decide that you need your arms to be longer, you can just make longer arms and put them in instead. I have longer arms, and these are shorter than when I started. Okay, so this next point is kind of important. When building the base, the joint, and the terminus, remember to leave room inside for the arms to rotate freely. So the bolt holes need to be at least 2 1/4 inch apart, and I'll show you that why in a minute. On the base, when I built this one first, I had to change where my screws were and Dremel some bits out because there wasn't enough room inside for things to move around. So there's inside some of these, there's little structural cross supports, and they're in there with 3/4 inch long screws. And I use Type Bond 3 for the wood joints and JB Weld epoxy for the T-nuts. All right, let me go and show you. This is how to make the knobs. Let me show you where I am on this. Okay, this is the arm. Okay, I've got it parts of it undone to show you, but this bit sits in my framework, and it allows this to rotate. And if I want to lock it in, I can just spin the knob and tighten it down and lock it in. Okay. These are the arms. This arm and these 2 arms are the 3/4 inch plywood. Everything else is 1/2 inch plywood, including these 2 arms here. Okay, so when I say that the holes are 1 inch from the end, that's this hole here. It's 1 inch from the end. So inside here, these arms have to have clearance in order to rotate so they don't run into one another. And likewise, this one here. So now if you look in here, I had to carve this out a bit because it's not long. I didn't build this deep enough. So, okay. And the bit where 2 of the arms need to be on the same hole, that's this one here. So how did I decide to do that? One of them, because they all have to be together, they can't be all on the same plane. So I put these 2 on the outside and this one on the inside. And then I got 1 screw going through here and 1 of the knobs. And that's how I adjust the length of the arm back and forth. Okay. On this terminus, this is the terminus bit here. Okay. I make these knobs. All right. And this knob could hold a camera, but it now holds a little quick release thing that the camera is bolted into, but it could hold the camera. So, but this lets me angle the camera or move it around. If I change the arm length, then I might need to adjust this up and down so that the camera's level and that kind of stuff. Any questions on this so far?
Brilliant.
No, when I taught a class in Washington one time, they had built one of these, but he had two, I call that an elbow. He had two elbows in the run when he needed to reach out and get way behind the tailstock. And he had just done bolt one, which is easy to do, and reduced the thing to only one elbow. And it really made it a versatile rig. It's a great idea.
Yeah, it's and these things are always evolving. And I got to talking with somebody else online about how to make these work, and he had some interesting ideas. And I tried to. I had some very bizarre ideas about how to do the terminus. So this little mechanism here was one of my terminus ideas, and it's got ball joints, and it'll let me rotate things, and this one would hold the camera, and it would let me rotate things, and it was too crazy and too bulky, and it wasn't doing to get where you need to be. And one of the beauties of something like this is it becomes versatile to the point where you've done something that doesn't work, and then you can just undo it or make a different part. Okay. So anyway, this knob goes on here like that, and so I have this on my above my headstock, and I can get it up out of my way and tighten the knob, and it stays there. Tighten it does. Tighten this knob, and it stays there, and it's out of my way. And then when when it comes time to do a demo, I can bring it down and put the camera over my headstock, and it stays there. I can adjust this so that I got the camera at the right angle. So that's how that works. And so making the knobs themselves was so this is the knob construction instructions. Okay. And one of the reasons why you use this plug, so that the bit in the diagram, the piece on the left is the actual knob, and you use the plug so that the knob is not flush against the wood. Okay, so you can actually turn it. You're not scraping your fingers every time you try to turn it, and it's not being interfered with. And also it helps hold the T-nut in place. So this is basically the instructions about how you do this together. But the T-nut I use Forstner bits for all this, and this is how I do it. And when I'm cutting out the knob, so let me show you. Let me step away and show you what the knob, like that's the knob. This is the plug. This is the knob, and there's a T-nut inside here. And there's a slight depression here where this plug fits through. You've got to make sure everything's on center. And if you consider the stresses on things, you don't want to crank down the T-nut so that it puts outward pressure on it, because it can, I use epoxy in there to help secure the T-nuts, but you can pop those T-nuts out if you work hard enough at it, because you've got a lot of force, because this friction is the only thing holding these together. So I will send you guys the PDF of that PowerPoint that I just showed, that shows the documentation and instructions for turning the knobs. The videos, I do most of the stuff that the first video shows on the arm, I'm still doing when I make arms. I cut the little holes for the bolts and everything on the table saw. On these knobs, I use a compass to do the outside diameter, and then I use Forstner bits to hollow this bit out, and then I get it on the bandsaw, and I just smooth out the edges. I might trim it up with the bandsaw before I go on the belt sander. But this is all just very quickly sanded, rounded out on the belt sander and sanded out. So
Beautiful work, sir.
Thank you. It's fun, and it's fun to make something useful that really helps. And so now I've got a big arm that's solid as bedrock, and it gets the light where I want it when I want it. And I've got another really good arm, this one here, that gets my camera right where I want it, and it's infinitely adjustable and it's quickly adjustable, which is fun. So and it makes it easy to find good camera angles. You know, find the camera angle that's optimum for what you're trying to do. Because sometimes when you're turning in a demo and you've got a camera directly over the lathe, you can't see what the tool's doing. You can't, you know, whereas if I can move it back here and have it aiming, then everybody can see how I'm turning the tool on the piece, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and then if you're using one camera, or to look from the tail shop to watch the tool work. It's handy. And the reason I led into this when we were talking to John Brown was Mr. Brown was having a little problem with camera placement, and I don't know what he's using. I have tried those, I call them pantograph arms, panogram arms that you're building out of the ones made for desk lamps. And
Yep,
guess what?
I've gotten inspiration. I've got one of those this lamp right here that you guys can't see is one of those articulated arms. And I've gotten inspiration from those. Matter of fact, after I built the first arm, I went and took a look at how they're designing these other ones. One of the things that becomes patently obvious here is that this angle and this angle, like these two are parallel, okay? It's the same angle here and here. And likewise, this angle here on these screws and these screws, it's the same angle, okay? So that's why it works, is it always, that allows you to get things, to keep things working the way, you know, they can be organized to work. So
if that dimension and angle is off, the piece will not come down parallel. The camera won't move parallel.
Right, the arms will come together, okay? The arms will come together and impede each other. You know, this way they always stay the same equidistant apart, and you don't run into problems until you get like right up close like that. Okay, but I got like, this will go, this will go, you know, all the way over here. Okay, it's got a, if they're, you know, if they're free, I've got, you know, nearly 180 degrees worth of movement on those. You know what I mean?
How many times you pinch your finger in that?
I gotta count.
Once, just once. No, it's happened more than once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try not to move very quickly with these. I have pinched them on the desk lamp, so that
on our scan, I'm sorry, on our chat right now. So if you're looking to get those links to download this information from what Matt has just told us, it is available on the chat. Please save the chat before you leave tonight. In fact, because I'll forget it, I'm going to go down there right now and hit save chat. So I've got everything that happened from when I tuned in until right now. If something exciting happens right after this, save it again. It'll be on your home computer. What if you miss it? Okay, Dave Rhodes, our webmaster, puts the chat on our website for you to get access to. Now, because we told you to put the information that you like to have on our in the email or in our chat that you like to have in the contact list, Dave will delete your information fairly secret, and that's to keep the bots away from you. It's about 7 minutes before the top of the hour. If somebody's got a woodturners.org.
Well, I don't know about a question or comment, but we got a gallery, Adam.
If it's from Rick, we'll take it.
There he is.
Hi there. I missed part of the meeting, but I did tune in earlier when we had the routing demo, and I have done some routing.
Ooh,
this
nice.
is a bowl of where I've done a routing on the side.
Nice.
And so that works. What I use video on the AAW website from way back when. I can't tell you who it was, but they show how you can mount a trim router on this platform on the tool post, and you can cut on the side, or you can cut on the face, different heights to get a starburst effect or whatever. And
I have one of those. I've done that.
okay.
Yeah,
And
you make
then
a little, you make a little
I
slit
kind
for
of
your
took
trim
it a
router.
little bit farther, and I cut a spiral on with a router.
Nice.
Very nice. Oh, that's cool.
And was that with a
That is
separate
really
spiraling jig, or?
That's with the arcing jig that arcs.
What I did is I made my own a jig. I took a piece of aluminum and drilled the holes so that it would fit over my 1 1/4 inch threads on my headstock. I cut this piece round, and then I screwed on a piece of wood and cut a sheave or a pulley on this. It was about 6 or 7 inches. And then I hooked it to my router sled. I had a piece of aircraft cable that I was going to use, but it was too stiff. So what I ended up using was an old boot shoelace, and I hooked it to the router and through an eyelet over this wheel on the it's captive on the headstock, and had a weight on the back side of the lathe to keep tension on it. And I used the indexer on my lathe, and I would turn the lathe, and as I turned it manually, it would that would turn the part, and it would move the router along the sled.
Huh.
That
I
is
have
cool.
I have pictures of the setup, but it's on my other computer. I got this one just today, so I can't show it to you.
Okay, Dane, right down is Rick Tucker out of Kansas City.
Rick Tucker.
Yeah. Because we're coming back for you, Rick.
Pardon me?
We're coming back for you.
We want a demo.
We don't miss a chance for a demo like that.
No, that's for sure.
Thank you, Rick. Beautiful work.
Appreciate it, Rick. Thank you.
Very nice. Very nice.
And we tease about it a lot, folks, but we're a bunch of guys sitting on, and gals sitting on the tailgate of the truck sharing on information about wood turning. And if you've seen something in one of our demos that you like to add to or such, remember we have a no butt guarantee. You can't say, I like that butt. You can always include some other information that you may have. Matt said he made the knobs. I got a chat a chat that said go to McMastercar, MSC.com or Granger, and they've got the knobs with the insert in them, and they come in different sizes, and the 1/4-20 is very common. And same thing for
Ace Hardware
knobs.
does too.
So if you look at, say again?
Ace Hardware does as well, but it's like Matt, it's more fun to make them.
Yeah, but if you can't make them, that's another source for you to get them.
Yep.
I enjoy making where I can cut the loops in and put a few arts on it.
Those knobs
Say
are plastic.
again, Matt?
though. Those knobs are plastic though. I've broken those knobs. It's one of the
Ace.
reasons why I decided to make them out of wood is it's more solid. So
Right. Ace has them in wood.
oh, they do. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're in their nuts and bolts section,
Okay.
or at least my Ace does. Of course, I think it's the second largest Ace in the state of Arizona. So
I'll look. My Ace has got a ton of stuff. So
it's the candy aisle for me.
Yeah.
In fact, unfortunately, where I'm living at New Orleans, the big box stores are putting them all out of business.
Yeah.
There may be 3 good aces, not big aces, left in the area. Because big boxes filling it up with what they get their marketing people to tell them this will sell, not necessarily this is what they want.
Right.
And I don't, that's enough on big box stores.
Yep.
Okay, folks, we've been together again this Wednesday evening. It's been very, very nice. Save the chat, but let me include one more thing. Merry Christmas.
Yes. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Each and every one of y'all. Start your holiday season off safe. Good.
Merry Christmas.
Ronnie, turn
Merry
TV
Christmas,
off.
everyone.
Hey, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. Thanks,
Hey,
Ron.
y'all.
Great demo.
Merry Christmas.
Everybody stay safe.
See you next week.
Mm.
There's an awesome demo planned for next week.
What is it?
Awesome? Is he awesome?
What is
It's
it?
going to be awesome.
What finish did you use?
600 CBN. I'm not changing my story.
Wine bottle done in them shit somewhere.
You gotta stay tuned till next week.
Does that mean Dane's gonna be doing the demo? Will Dane be doing the demo?
Yes.
Are you
Yeah.
doing a pipe demo?
No, we had a scheduling. Yeah, maybe later, but not next week.
I need more work on, so.
So acrylic pen blanks, and you use hot water to bend them.
Yeah, I want to do that. I want to make them out of wood.
Then you steam to bend them.
Okay.
Yep.
All right,
we
so I'm gonna
steam.
make a steamer then. All
Mr.
right,
Wood
all
does
right.
it. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to get that hole down a bent hole.
Oh, you
I
don't
do.
have any
I
of
do.
those
I got-
curved drill bits?
I got,
Yeah,
I got
right.
bent drill bits. Yeah. Why,
Use a
will that
wire,
work?
curved wire to keep the hole open.
Make those shop, those kitless ink pens using the big ink pen thing, they always come through the side. Why I created a different way to turn. That's why I created a different way to turn them. And I'm going to show that one night. That's when my lathe comes inside. Lathe is supposed to come inside Monday.
All right.
All right.
We're looking forward to the update.
It
on
will be
Monday.
Merry Christmas at your house then, won't it, Cap?
All right.
Yeah, I got to see that fat guy roll that thing in.
Hey, videotape it.
Sounds like a video.
You know what? I might. That my production company's coming in. Only here at one time moving that monster, but that's what I resorted to because can't find labor. It's impossible. Not after hurricane. It's what their prices doubled. But hey,
yeah, I bet.
All right, folks,
All right.
out of here.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, y'all.
Merry Christmas.
Take a pen.
Happy Boxing Day.